I am Dr.v Sridevi, Professor from Department of EEE, presenting the topic Structure of Power System. So power system, it's nothing but it is the interconnection of various network components deployed to supply, transfer and utilize the electrical supply. If you take a modern power system, it is broadly divided into three sections: generation, transmission and distribution. In the transmission, we have two categories. One, it is primary transmission, the other one is secondary transmission. Even in the distributions, we have primary distribution and secondary distribution. Coming to the structure of power system, so right from the generation. So if we take a generation, so here we have generators which could generate a voltage till 11 kV volt. Okay, that is the voltage level of generation. Even we do have some 6.6 kV or 11 kV generation. Next comes a transmission. So first it is the primary transmission. Whether the generated 11 kV gets transmitted directly? No. That to be stepped up to a higher voltage level and that to be transmitted. Why so? We know that the transmission loss, it's proportional to I square into R. So I square means that is the current. If the voltage level is low, the current will be high. So what will happen there? The power loss I squared or loss will be high. So in order to reduce the value of current, we need to step up the voltage. How that is being done? Yes, that is using step up transformer. So here at the sending end, we have a step up transformer. So what does step up transformer do? That step up this generated 11 kV to either 110 kV or 220 kV. Okay, so now the 220 kV is available for transmission. So the transmission of power from sending end station to the receiving end station, we call that transmission as the primary transmission. So it is a high voltage transmission. So at the receiving end station, so whatever the voltage level, that is the 220 kV for example, we take. Okay, that gets stepped down to 66 kV in receiving end station. Okay, so from the receiving end station, so the power gets transmitted via a secondary transmission system to a receiving, we call it as a secondary substation. Okay, there what will happen? This 66 kV gets stepped down to either 33 kV or 11 kV. And not only that, from there the distribution starts. Okay, so for the large or bulk consumers, the power gets directly supplied to them. For example, some factory loads or industrial loads. If they require 11 kV bits, from there directly the power could be distributed to them. But for the residential loads and all, the power still to be reduced, the voltage level still to be reduced. So now what happens? So from the secondary substation that goes to the distribution station. Okay, so we have the primary distribution and the secondary distribution. So for primary distribution means, so from the secondary and substation to the distribution station. So that distribution we call it as the primary distribution. So that has been taken care by the feeders. What is the feeder? Feeder is nothing but a conductor where there is no tappings at all. So that we call it as the feeder. Okay, so after reaching the distribution station, the power reached the consumers via two components we could say. One is the distributor, the next it is the service mains. Okay, so from the distribution substation till the local transformer, we could have seen local transformers. Okay, right, so to the local transformers the power has been taken there. So there still again it gets reduced, the voltage level gets reduced to, so the 11 kV it was there, right? So that gets reduced to either the 440 volt or 230 volt, our single phase or three phase voltage levels. Okay, so that gets supplied to all the domestic loads, we can say, all the loads, the basic loads it gets supplied over. there. So from the distributor substation, that will be taken to the local transformers there. So from the local transformers, the distributors taking the supply, and the service mains are nothing but, we might have seen some posts there, electrical posts in our areas, right? So to our house, we are taking the supply from that post only, okay, right? So whichever the line connecting that post to the end user, that is our home, that we call it as the service mains. Okay, so finally, from the generating station, the power gets transferred to our load center. Okay, so this, the entire structure, we call it as the structure of power system. So right from the generation, we had the primary transmission, we had the secondary transmission, a primary distribution, and the secondary distribution. Like we had a step-up transformer in the primary transmission side. So I've told you, in between the generation and the primary transmission, we had a step-up transformer. But the remaining, all the other transformers, whichever we have used in the structure, or we call it as the step-down transformer, where the voltage levels are stepped down from 220 volt to either 66 volt in receiving end station, and from 66 volt to 33 volt or 11 kV. That means 33 kV or 11 kV in secondary substation, and from 11 kV to 400 volt or 230 volt in distribution substation. So like this is the entire structure of the power system. Thank you.